Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah.
actually going to be reading one of the poems that I read that night.
Okay.
Just a little heads up, this poem does talk about, it's a beautiful poem. It's one of my favorite new poems that I've written. It's a healing poem talking about my journey of healing and finding love after experiencing sexual violence and assault. So, just a content warning. This is track 5, To Pimp a Butterfly. If these walls could talk, if these walls could talk, if these walls could talk,
She froze.
the
This
first
shit
time a
froze.
man touched me. Symbols, sounds. Can you hear me? I was an age where numbers were symbols, sounds unknown to my mind, gigantic. Hands chapped from the trauma his father afflicted with no salve, but an ABV percentage of 40 or higher to comfort his night terrors. Gigantic. Hands who communed in the same way with my mother to create the seed from which I sprouted, chose to steal my innocence as a sacrifice for his suffering. Wasting into the generational traumas our ancestors prayed for him to heal instead. He polluted the soil in my garden, ripped out potential, and ejaculated my grandfather's trauma onto my face, my chest, my bed. If these walls could talk, they'd censor the second time a man touched me, tricked into a room under false pretenses on the eve of a great aunt's funeral and my 10th birthday. Let's go grab the Xbox. I got a new game to show you. Happy birthday. Family ties into trauma and trauma ties into the family. His hands were laden with a white man's greed that sold him off centuries ago and dehumanized his women after. So it does not surprise me that I was left face down in shame as he left satisfied. If these walls could talk, they'd cringe at the third time a man touched me. Too timid, too terrified, too trifling, and tone deaf. He made up for his shortcomings by driving me around Los Angeles in busted cars. First Bertha, then Sally. We'd sing with abandon on our way to tequila slick dance floors, our only refuge in a cage of anxiety and sexuality, confusions and explorations. I have your love now, but I'd be so lucky to love you in 5 years' time. Just give me time. He couldn't lose the love that he was getting, nor could he give me the love that I was receiving or that he was receiving. So he toyed with my emotions in a 525,600 minute times 3 cat and mouse chase. If these walls could talk, they'd smile at the first time a woman touched me. Made out as an enemy of state by the men that came before her, my hands dug out the muck and the mire of my soul to find the honeysuckle dandelions of serenity within her. Me. Her fingers danced along my skin, connecting scar lines to paint an abstract masterpiece. Peace became tranquility after pain relinquished its cruelty. Healing. With her, I began healing. With her, I learned releasing. If these walls could talk, they'd laugh with delight from the fourth man who touched me, the last man who will ever touch me. They'd sing the psalms I've transcribed in the twilight hour, written to the rhythm of his resting heart rate, sleeping next to mine. Bless his hands and breathe relief because his divine masculine, fluid, gentle, and strong met my divine feminine, fluid, graceful, and resilient in a moment greater than passion, in a moment deeper than lust, in a moment of collision after a decades long gravitational pull led to our soul's inevitable amalgamation in the concert hall of praise, we found love. He came to me as an unexpected consequence of EMDR work and Ashanti breaths. He came to me as a friend of a friend who grew into a home. He came to me as an angel number 1111. A reminder of the work manifested. His hands release the binds that cramp my vertebrae. His tongue, a gentle balm to the past torments. His body tames the wild that flares in the night. If these walls could talk, they tell the world that healing is possible, that the kindling of a broken past can breathe life to the warmest fire and everlasting flame, that that flame can become a hearth, and that hearth can bring you purpose. They'd encourage the hurting, the meek, the lost, the broken. Tell them my story, for I am a prophet for healing. If these walls could talk. Thank you.